Excited about Joel Berry joining the team.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
Tell you what, Booze, Luke Hancock, Joel Berry, all got rings.
There's our boy right there.
They all got rings. Joel Berry still can handle the rock. What's he doing? Cashing in for TV. We'll come back, talk to the former Tar Heel point guard, now a member of our ACC Network team.
You know, the Tar Heel jerseys always look sweet, man. That's a good-looking combo right there.
Yeah.
Always has been.
Joel Berry wore those black jerseys at one time. He also wore the one with the logo on it and all that. And now he's playing TV with us, Pack. Come on, Joel. Huh? Welcome.
Welcome, man.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
How did we get here? How did we get to television? Because it just seems like, 3 years ago, I was sitting in one of these rooms asking you about your last season, right?
Right. Life is crazy how it works, but I'm happy to be here. I had a great professional career. I enjoyed it. Basketball means so much to me, but now I'm with you guys, and I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to it.
Let's talk about the Heels a second. New era, right? Roy Williams, legendary, decides to go play golf, and good for him. He's earned it. Here comes Hubert Davis. Guy knows more about North Carolina basketball than anybody on the planet. How do you think he's going to do?
I think he's going to do amazing. I watched some of his interviews, and you can just see the passion that he has for Carolina, and I think that he will put that into his players, and I think he will get all the players to realize what they're playing for. And when you step out on the court with that name on the front of your jersey, it means everything. And Coach Davis represents that, and I think it's great that they kept it in-house with bringing him in, and I'm excited for him.
You know, it's important we get one of these guys that just came off the floor like yourself in some respect. This game at the college level, Joel's changing so fast. Transfers, grad guys, all sorts of things. If you're playing, take me back to trying to build a team. You were a great leader in addition to being a great player. How do you put a team together among guys in that locker room now? It's got to be a tricky deal, right?
It is. You have guys coming from different places with different philosophies that they've picked up during their time at other schools. And then you also have the guys that are coming in from high school. So it's a lot that goes into it, and it's hard, trying to build that camaraderie in the locker room. And it's not easy at all, but hopefully these guys can come together and make it happen. But this is going to be a tough year for a lot of teams with the transfers and new guys coming in.
Joe, we talked about this is going to be really an educational experience for everybody in the league as far as get to know your team, because I grew up with this stuff. I don't ever remember a time where there's been more movement on every single roster in the league. And then you get the transfers coming in, and if you were not paying attention to teams around the country, you're like, I've never heard of this guy. Can he play dead in a cowboy movie? He's going to take us to a championship. So, with that said, and this is totally a crystal ball, what do you think we're going to get in the league? Who do you think will be good and take advantage of the transfer portal and incoming fresh?
It's hard. Just looking at college football right now, there are teams that are top in the country that you wouldn't have expected to be, in the top 10. So I think that we have to look at every team as a whole this year in the ACC. You can't just focus in on one team. And I think it's great, honestly, because you have a lot of guys who have the ability to play in the ACC, but they just didn't have the opportunity when they were getting recruited. So now they were able to go build their resume and come to the ACC and play in this high-level conference. So I think it's great. And like I said, I don't think you can focus on one team.
It is interesting to see the guys that have transferred from what we would call like mid-Division I, right? Outside the Power Five. They've come into the Power Five. That kind of guy he's probably got an ambition coming out of high school, that an itch he wants to scratch, if you will, right?
Right.
In that world, how easy, because he's got college experience, can he integrate to a Duke, a Florida State, a Carolina, a Virginia, right?
Yeah, I think it's easy for a guy like that because you've played at the high level, not as high as the ACC, but you've played college basketball, and wherever you go, talent is talent. And like I said, some of these guys just didn't get that opportunity coming out of high school to get the chance to be at a school in the ACC or be at a top school. So now that they've gone somewhere, built their resume, built up their confidence, they're ready to come play. And that's why I'm so excited to see basketball this year and what happens.
Joe, there's so many great venues to play basketball in this league. I won't let you go back in your career here. But when's the first time when you put that Tar Heel jersey on and you walked out? Could have been a Smith Center, maybe better yet on the road, and you realize, oh, my goodness, I'm in the Atlantic Coast Conference. This is no joke.
Yeah, I mean, just my first game at Carolina. Man, my freshman year was my eyes were wide the whole time.
You mean it wasn't a Popka anymore?
No, it was totally different than a Popka. A lot more people than a Popka, but it was amazing being able to see some of the games and being involved in some of the games, and it's just been amazing. But yeah, my first game that I stepped into Carolina, my eyes were just wide open.
You know, and I think that's what makes this year so interesting, because you get all these transfers that, guess what, they've played in front of big crowds. Now all of a sudden they may put a different jersey on, they get a chance to go to Cameron Indoor, the Smith Center, or go down to try to beat Florida State. Somebody try to beat Florida State, or Virginia, as tough as it is. You know, those guys are now experienced. That's why it's really hard to handicap anybody, because it's not just a freshman walking in. You got a grown man putting a jersey on and going, guess what, I can help you right now tonight. Let's go.
Right, exactly. And you got to think also, too, about the guys who came in as freshmen from last year. They didn't get a chance to play in front of the crowd. So they will have to also adjust to playing in front of the crowds as well. And the hardest place to me to play is in Carolina. I mean, there's so many fans, and so just being able to play in front of the crowd it'll be a change for everybody, even the people who played last year.
All right, you're going to slide your analyst hat on here. This is your Packer and Durham orientation, if you will. Okay. There'll be other orientation when you get to the nothing but net crowd later.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole different.
That's a whole different,
totally different cast of characters.
But if you're looking at two guys, give me two players that you would say today we ought to keep an eye on. They may be guys we're familiar with. Maybe they're new players in the ACC.
Yeah, the one guy I've been focusing on because he's Carolina, and of course he's a point guard, is Caleb Love. I want to see him take that next step, and I think everybody's excited for him. And the point guard, as always, is the hardest position at Carolina. So sometimes you have to go through those freshman pains, but I think he'll take that next step. And I'm excited to see what he does. And then a guy from Virginia, the point guard from Virginia.
T.J. Clark?
Yeah, I'm excited to see him as well.
Yeah.
I love the point guard position, and I focus in on that always because it's really the head of the team, and you only go as far as your point guard. And so I'm excited to see what he can do this year. And I've been paying a little bit of attention to him, so I like his game a lot.
Back at 10:30, we're going to tell Caleb Love Joel Berry is really focused on him.
Nothing like pressure, right? I mean, it's already tough enough walking in the Smith Center getting the job done. You know who I can't wait to see? I want to see the Boeheim boys put it together up there at Syracuse. I think Syracuse is flying underneath the radar, in my opinion. There's going to be a lot of talk. Florida State does their thing, and Shades of Blue and Tony Bennett and all that great stuff, and they're always good. But I think the boys up there at Cuse may have something to say this year.
Yeah, I think Syracuse is always good. Even when they don't have the top recruits, they're always good. And the reason why is they just the way they play is unorthodox. I mean, going against a 2-3, the way that they play it, I tell you right now, I did not like it. And it was so hard because you can't get it. There's no way to get used to it. So I just think with the talent that they have and the way that they play, I think Syracuse will be good this year.
I'm sitting here thinking that Joel Berry and Boozer get together. We put a Carolina and a Duke guy together. We're going to ruin the room. Luke Hancock and Dowling Couple have no chance. Pack.
Well, you know, here's what I'll say, though. You know, it's funny. I had an interview yesterday with Dave Fleming, voice of the Giants. Right. And he's out there in L.A. for the Giants-Dodgers
Sure, I knew
series.
we were getting to Giants and Dodgers.
No, I'm going to tie it all into the ACC. And he talked about the fact that the fans out there absolutely despise one another, Giants-Dodgers. And I said, is there anything that it relates to the college game? And he mentioned Auburn, Alabama football, Ohio State, and Michigan. And I said, how about Duke, Carolina? Because I've always thought, you know, growing up in North Carolina, the Duke and Carolina players, actually there's a respect factor.
Oh, yeah.
There is. You know, there's blood, sweat, tears. We all kind of get it. Yeah, you wear your light shade, I wear the dark shade. But there's a respect factor amongst players. Fans, all bets are off. So I think you and Booze will be just fine with the respect factor. Now, the fans that get around them, that's a whole different story. It's nuts.
Right, that's true. I think you know, a lot of people don't understand behind the scenes. We know a lot of the Duke guys. I mean, we played travel basketball with them and stuff. So it's more of the fans that make it that way, which is I kind of like it. You know, like you said, we have a respect for the other side, but the fans, man, they take it to a whole nother level.
All right, so you put the basketball away. You retired from the game. I know you were G League, then you went to Turkey for a year, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. You got married before your pro career really ever started. Now you got a baby, you got a new job, you got a 9 to 5, and now you're going to do TV as well with us. You got a full plate, man.
I do. I'm a family man. Family has always been something that's huge. And during my time, as you can see, my little baby girl right there.
Nice. That's awesome.
She's amazing. She's brought nothing but joy to our family. But I'm always been a family guy, and you know, during my time in playing basketball, my family was huge for me.
Yeah.
There were times, you know, you see the product on the court, but behind the scenes, it was a lot of time I was struggling, and but it was my family. So family is everything to me, and that's why I made the decision to stop playing and be there for my family.
You know what? That sounds great. It really does. But let's be honest. You're doing this TV gig, so the better half says, "Hey, Joel, come over here. I need you to take care." You're like, "No, honey, I got television to do. I got bills to pay."
Yeah, I will tell you, the nights are a little bit hard, but it's all worth it at the end of the day.
That's right about that.
100% right.
Hey, great to see you. Thanks as always. Looking forward to having you on the team, man.
Yes, sir. I'm very excited. I'm glad to be here this morning with you guys, and looking forward to being around.
All right.
It's going to be
Yes,
good.
sir.
Joel Berry with us on Nothing But Net. Tell you what, man, that's a fast-moving world he's been living in, Pac.
Wait a minute. Unlike what the world we live in?
No, we're old
Stuck
guys.
in a basement
We're
for
old
18
guys,
hours
man.
a day?
We're
You
old
kidding me?
guys.
Sounds like heaven to me.
No, he's doing good.
Get
He looks
out
like
and
you
about.
still play, too. That's the other thing.
Wait, before we go to break, I want to ask you about that. How often do you get somebody goes, "Oh, yeah, Joel Berry, Carolina. Yo, yeah, I remember watching you." All of a sudden you go down and shoot a little basket. I mean, somebody always wants a piece of you, right? I mean, isn't that the worst?
Oh, always. And, you know, I kind of have to play it down a little bit. I don't want to be too cocky.
I mean, when you go out there and break some ankles, though, don't you? After
Yeah.
a while, I mean, some little banker guy comes up to you and goes, "Hey, Barry, yeah, I'll tell you, I can handle you. You were so overrated at Carolina." You're like, "Hey, let me go snap this guy in half."
Some of these guys aren't going to recognize you walking through here today without the hair, Joel. You know that, right?
That is true.
Back to that rookie year from Apopka with the haircut. So.
I am, yeah. I love it. I like it better this way. Back to the people wanting to always play me. Yeah, I'm still competitive. I'm still young. I'm 26, so I still have it in me. So.
I love it.
Yes, you still got it in
I got socks 26 years old.
Man. Great to see you. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Joel Berry with us here at ACC Tipoff.